for it. Wait for it. We're live. Here we are, everybody.
Hey!
We're here.
I'm Jenny.
I'm Paul.
And that was kind of weird.
Well, I mean, who else am I supposed to be? I'm Bob.
We're with the Go Box and Vango Artist Bar and Studio. Studio recently reopened. I think this is our third weekend coming up.
Yep.
So if you are local to the Portland area and you want to come take a class, it's usually either Paul or I teaching.
Well, right now it is either you or I teaching.
Yeah, we've got one other employee who's kind of going in the mix too.
Yep.
But yeah, please feel free to, it's vango.com, come on in, take a class, and you can see what it's like to do it live on the stage. Well, you wouldn't be on the stage, but we would be on the stage. And it's fun. It's a whole different experience. It takes a little bit longer because there's a lot more interaction between student and teacher and a lot more questions answered. On here, obviously, we're just kind of going along, and if someone posts a question, we answer it. But
we're going along.
Going along.
Going along.
Okay, so tonight you guys are painting the jellyfish. A
Yep.
lot of people mentioned they were very excited about this one.
I'm
Which
kind of
makes me happy.
I'm kind of
like
excited about this. This is kind of like not in my
not in your realm.
not my typical wheelhouse, so that'll be kind of interesting.
Yeah. So if you got the kit, they batch 1 shipped yesterday, batch 2 shipped today. And so you guys will be receiving them based on how far away you are from Oregon, either right away or a few days from now. And you can obviously do the video whenever.
Yep.
But one thing you will notice is we had to go through like hell and high water to get these. Like Paul had to go full on Karen with the company that made them.
I literally did. It was with
Both.
the
You
shipping
did both.
company. I did actually have to speak to a manager.
Yes, he did, and that doesn't happen.
It was
very
actually
often,
kind of
but-
funny because the person I was talking to, I started the sentence and I said, "Can I speak to?" And she said, "Speak to a manager." And I was like, "Yes," because you're not very friendly.
Yeah, she was not good.
She was not friendly.
Well, let's zoom in.
Let's zoom in. All right.
and
Nobody needs to
see.
hear about our troubles and trials and
but
tribulations, but
Glad
let's
everybody's
go.
getting the
Here
new
we go.
box.
There we go.
Okay.
Pay attention to
Okay,
that
look at this
monitor.
one.
Yeah.
What?
Pay attention to that one, not that one.
So here's the painting.
There it is.
Those of you who subscribe and get the kit, you'll have your instruction sheet. You can follow along this way, or you can just follow along with me. As in the past, we've said we've changed things up slightly for teaching online, maybe.
No black in this
A lot of times.
painting.
No black in this painting. Here are your colors. So we're going to be our bonus color this month. First time we've ever used this one, green apple. And then we've got sapphire, ruby, daffodil, and white. And then this month you got a fun free to follow sticker. I have a lot of fun making these.
Yeah, I was going to say, you've been having a lot of fun making those.
I've got 6 months of stickers designed. This one says, "Feet, what do I need you for when I have wings to fly?" And I love that quote. And
Can I just make a quick comment real quick?
Okay.
Before we get started? And I was...
if it's real quick.
Yeah. I was looking at our analytics earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that only 7% of the people that watch our videos actually subscribe to our channel?
Oh, come on, guys! Subscribe, subscribe.
Click that subscribe button, everybody. Like the like the video.
It makes us more visible.
Yeah, and the more you guys do that, the more we are capable of putting together more videos for you. So that's my pandering and...
Yeah, you are pandering.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of what we do.
Yep, I'm going to set this painting aside. Obviously, there's a lot of little circles. They go pretty fast because I don't want you to spend a whole lot of time making perfect detailed circles because they absolutely don't need to be.
Oh, wow. Good.
So let's start with our biggest brush. Go ahead and dip it in your water cup. And yes, I should mention you should have a water cup for washing your brush, a paper towel, or old paint rag.
And if you're painting along with us live, which... I don't expect...
Drying the brush off.
Yeah, feel free to ask questions if you just even... Oh, why does that say no data? Yeah, there, we're back.
Okay.
I don't know. Anyway, and even if you've got just a question at all and you're not painting along with us, you're just watching, feel free to ask.
Okay, so throughout the bottom, it's like the bottom 2/3 of this painting, we're going to be alternating between sapphire and green apple.
Okay, that sounds good.
So let's start with the sapphire. Just dip your brush right in there.
Let's do it.
The brush motion, we're going to kind of be doing this scooping motion. So I'll just run this through like this until I mostly run out of paint. Then I'm not even going to wash my brush. I'll dip it in the green apple. Let them overlap. It's going to turn this really pretty, almost teal-like color where the two colors meet. Then go back to the sapphire blue. You don't have to follow that blue-green, blue-green, blue-green pattern. You just want a streaky mix of the two. So maybe you go in and you go from blue to blue, and then you add green and green. It doesn't matter. You just want a nice streaky blend where we're kind of doing this upward wave.
Say, Jenny.
Yeah.
I'm noticing that it feels like my paint is drying extraordinarily fast.
That's weird.
Would it benefit me to have a slightly damper brush?
You could.
Okay.
You could, but usually what I do in that case is just use a little more paint.
Oh, well, I'm a little stingy on using the paint. We know that.
So use really long end-to-end brush strokes too, because otherwise you get these little broken up stop and start marks. And for this sort of thing, we want nice, long, curved brush strokes. Now I do go a bit fast through this background because the step we do in step 2, well, actually it'd be step 3, we need the paint to be a little bit wet. It doesn't have to be like fully wet, but just a little leftover damp paint is good.
Sounds good.
So just sweeping on through there. Big old great wave.
You know what's really cool? You know this already, but other people don't know this. We have a new subscriber in the Philippines.
Yeah, so if a person in the Philippines, thank you for subscribing. Hopefully you tune into the videos. I think most people who get the box do.
I just thought that was really cool. I mean, like...
Yeah, you're our first person from the Philippines subscribing. We've had Canada and Kuwait.
Canada, Kuwait, now the Philippines. It's like...
Yeah, we're
getting
getting global.
go worldwide.
Getting a little global there. You know, it is nice to see that we have people all over the world. And that's the nice thing about having the YouTube channel.
I do see we get a lot of people from the UK and Australia that watch our videos.
Cool.
So
very cool. I've actually been watching 60 Minutes Australia lately on YouTube. It's kind of fun.
Really?
See, yeah, a whole new country with you know, little issues that end up on 60 Minutes. It's just entertaining. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I've got most of this blocked in here.
What happened here? Okay, it doesn't matter. I'm not
We
worried.
are going to wash the brush, and we're going to mix sapphire and white to get a kind of sky blue color. I'll show the painting here. It's somewhere in this realm, right up in there. And you don't even have to totally clean the brush perfectly. But I guess you can see this on screen without me having to move it over. Yeah, just pull some sapphire over. Not a whole lot. I probably am making too much paint color. And I'm just going to start down in here. Let those colors intermingle. Because we want them to look like we've got some of this pulling up in here too. And if needed, if your paint has dried quite a bit and you need to dip your brush like in the green apple and bring some of it up in there, you totally can, just like I just did right now. And yes, if it does feel like it's drying kind of fast, you could even mix like a drop of water. One or two drops of water. What do we got, error going on here?
I feel like maybe because we're in a brick building, it's like a giant pizza stone.
We're baking, basically?
It just absorbs
Why'd
all
you have
the
me
moisture.
turn the heat up then, Paul?
Because it was cold in here.
You know, it doesn't get, like, super hot in here.
It doesn't get super... Well, it does get pretty cold, actually. Not upstairs, but down in the entry, it gets chilly.
Very cold. It's like 10 degrees cooler when you go up the stairs.
Yeah,
we've been in this space almost a year now.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Thanks for supporting us and allowing us to be able to do that, you guys.
Yeah, this space is so close to home, and we love it. It allows us to have a lot of room to pack up our boxes. And we don't just do Go Box. We have a lot of people that buy the individual kits. And so we're shipping all throughout every week, not just the first week of every month. So we do keep pretty busy here. And I hired one of my friend's high school sons, so that's been very nice. Drew, he's been helping us out a lot.
So something else that we've been working on, for those of you who pretty much just follow us on YouTube, YouTube started offering the ability for people to buy memberships, which is basically just a way of kicking us a couple bucks a month to support us in what we're doing and show us the love. And we'll be doing some announcements about how to sign up for that pretty soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are we going to offer with the membership?
There's different things. We're going to have some, I don't know. We've never really talked about it. Like YouTube has, like, we can do posts and almost like you do on Facebook. And some of those can be exclusive for members. And we'll probably do some more specific, like tutorials about, like, hey, this is, if you're struggling with mountain highlights, here's a specific tutorial to help you guide you on your way. Things like that.
I'm cutting you off. I'm washing my brush now.
Please
only
do.
because this next part has to have the canvas wet. So I'm
That's
sorry
fine.
to cut you off.
No, that's good.
We're going to pick up our next size down brush. For me, it's this number 8 flat. Most of you guys are getting this quad set of brushes. The little 4-pack. And with your subscription. So that's what I'm painting with. And what I do for this next part is I just am swirling back and forth across the canvas. So it's creating this swirly texture. You can kind of see that there. And what I did down lower where it's more dry, I'll show you as I get down there because I could tell it's already drying a lot down in here. But pretend you're a graffiti artist right here and you're just kind of swirling. Like, do figure eights. Figure eights work perfect for this. I'm sorry if it feels like I'm going fast, but it's just because of the drying. So yeah, down in here it's dry. So what I did is I'll take some of this light blue or even white and just put that on your brush. And just sort of haze it in there.
All we're really doing is adding texture, yeah?
Yep. You know what this was inspired by, this part? Can you guess?
Nemo.
Nope.
No?
It's an artwork we saw in person recently.
Oh, the one up at Skamania Lodge.
Yeah. Yeah, so we've been back doing our Skamania Lodge events 1 to 2 times a month. And we were eating in the restaurant. And there's this painting on the wall that we both love that's got these ripples in it, and it's very abstract. But if you're back from it, you can tell it's a stream, and it's got little rocks down in here, and fish, I think, fishy shapes. And yeah, it's got these ripples in it, kind of like this. So I was like, oh, I love that, and I'm going to do something with that this month. So any of this up here, if it's kind of invisible to you, just add some bits of this light color streaked in there. You can use white too. I think the instruction sheet says to use white, but I had this light blue handy and I felt like it was a good one to use. And this can be pretty subtle. It's really just a background thing.
I think a lot of times when we're painting underwater scenes, just having some texture is really important.
Yeah. Kind of in general, anything. Because you end up with the flat stuff and you look like you're doing a coloring book. Yeah, so I'm just adding little hints of this lighter color throughout here. Because I do like that. I like to have bits of the light in with the more subtle ones. So there we go. Yep, so mine are kind of squished and more horizontal figure eights, but they can be rounder. It doesn't matter. It's abstract part of the painting, so it can be whatever ended up on your canvas. I'm going to wash this brush now. I am going to use the same brush, and we are going to draw the jellyfish head, which is called the bell. I did a little research on the body parts of the jellyfish. I can't remember what a lot of these are called. They have scientific names, but I do remember that's called the bell. And so what I did is I kind of did this rainbow shape that's sort of at an angle, because I like having this bendy, sort of flowy looking layout with the jellyfish.
So I'm not going to give bonus points to whoever named the components of a jellyfish.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to give them bonus points for naming it a bell. I mean, that's just kind of like, oh, it looks like a bell.
Ding!
Ding! We're good.
Okay, so now we are going to mix white sapphire and a little bit of this green apple, which thank goodness I brought it over, so they didn't give us enough.
Oof, we're almost out. We do hand fill all those bottles that you guys receive. So.
We do, and Drew does.
Drew does a lot of it, yes.
Okay, so we're going to take the same medium-sized brush. You probably have your little sapphire white mix.
We do.
Yep.
I do.
Let's just add to that. If you have it, a nice glob of it, then just use it. I need to mix a little bit more. I probably made it a little too blue. It can be really pale.
Too blue, a baby.
No.
Blue.
And then green.
Was that Madonna?
Yeah. True Love.
True Blue.
No.
It was True Blue.
I'm going to have to Google that.
I can't. My phone, I left it at home.
Haha. Okay, so I've got this very light kind of seafoam green-ish color.
It's a good
and
color.
we end up going over this with white. So what we're doing right now is just kind of blueprinting it on. So how big to make it? I would say this is, what do you think, about 7 to 8 inches wide. But, I mean, it's your painting. You can make it how you want. And I just sort of dot it out.
Looks like half a cantaloupe.
Yeah, it's a good size. So then just dot it out somehow. It can be kind of non-committal here because we add to it and we make it. Most of what I'm doing right now gets covered up. So if I've got like a weird arch, I can fix it up.
You know what it is? It's like portobello size.
And then I did this sort of scallopy thing. It's almost kind of cartoon-like, but that kind of gets covered up too.
You know, we didn't eat dinner.
I did, actually. I made Greta a burrito, black bean and quinoa burrito, and I just kind of ate like a third of one.
Thanks for letting me know.
Oh, you were too busy looking at guitars.
It's true.
Okay, so next what we're going to do is we're going to, from the top here, I just go down and create these segmented lines. So they're always curving. On the left side, they're just curving left. And then as you get to the middle, they're going to start curving to the right.
Wow.
Wow, what?
I don't know.
Is that a good wow? Or
just kind of like, I could do like the old Ed McMahon and Johnny Carson be like, yes!
No,
just like,
okay.
Yeah, no. See, that's why wow is fine, because if I do that, wow.
Okay, so next we are going to do right here.
Wait, where are we at?
See.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to try to lift that up without glare. So we create these little spaghetti noodles that kind of come down and...
Sure, keep referencing food.
Yep, that's what we're doing. I'm going to add a little more green to this color. So it becomes a little more true seafoam green. You could even add a little yellow. Why not? We don't use the daffodil much in this painting, so I'm going to do that right now.
If my voice disappears tonight, it's because I went to the Irish pub underneath us to get some fish and chips.
Go right ahead. All right, let's start. This part might feel a little scary.
Ooh, I like the yellow in that.
Yeah, this part might feel a little scary. Try not to be scared because it's very loose and free, and I'm just going to just pretend you got like a ramen noodle going on here.
Really?
It's not kinky. It's more, I'm referencing food again. It's not like a kinky sort of brushstroke. It's more of a flowy, long, bendy thing. So some can be really without a lot of curl to them, and some can be more wavy. But I just do several of these overlapping. What this does is it creates I don't know if these are called tentacles. I can't remember. I should have looked at all the scientific terms again.
I think they are, because they have like stingers on them too. And it's like,
The stingers are the white ropey things we put at the end.
Oh wait, that's not what we're painting right now?
Nope. We're just, what we're doing right now is we're forming this.
Gotcha.
So if you've ever, I know you and I have both seen the jellyfish in the tanks at like the Oregon Coast Aquarium.
Yeah.
And they look like really ruffly They have this kind of cool ruffly thing going on. I feel like I need a little more over here, so I'm going to do another here. So don't overthink this part. Just go with it. And yours will be slightly different than mine. Mine will be slightly different than my original.
You know, we should do some road trips. Like inspiration road trip videos.
Yeah, we should. That'll be fun.
Just be like, hey, here we are at the Oregon Coast Aquarium. We're going to look at some cool stuff to figure out what we're going to paint.
Okay, so now what I'm going to do is this next step, which I'll show you on the instruction sheet. I always like referencing photos because I think it'll help a lot of people. So we're going to fill in between some of these, and then we add the ruffly parts. So right here is a good spot. I'm just going to use this same color, and I'm going to fill in these first two. There's a space between them. I'm going to fill that in.
Wow, I was taking way too much care on that while I was doing it. I thought we were doing the white ones for some reason. I don't know why I thought that. And so I was being like really careful and like, oh, I can actually be pretty messy while I do this.
Yes, you can be messy. It's the only time you can be messy, Paul.
It's way up my alley.
At home, we prefer cleaner.
That has never happened. I do like the yellow added in, though. I think it adds a luminosity to it.
Yeah. And this actually is okay if you've got the dark background streaking in there. I think that's a good thing. It's adding some unintentional lowlights. Or highlights, depending on what color you've got streaking in there. One of the things before I move on to another tentacle cluster, I guess that's what I'll call it. So I create, now you can Google pictures of jellyfish. That's very helpful so you know what in the world I'm painting right here. And what I do is I create these little ruffles along the edge, and I'll go like maybe a couple, 2-3 inches like this, same color. And then I'll go on the underside and do another, because these are constantly bending and twisting underwater, so the ruffles probably go down the whole length, but because of the way it's bending and twisting, you don't see.
Now I want potato chips. Thanks, Jenny.
And you can add as much of this as you like. You can make it really ruffly, but I do like to just have, you know, a couple inches here and there of ruffles. And if this ended up a little too blended in with the background, like I could see mine really mixed in here. If I wanted this true seafoam green without some of this dark blue mixed in, I would just let this dry and come back and coat over it with some of this lighter color. But I kind of like the mix personally. So let's wash our brush. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for the straight apple green. Keep in mind, as you're going through and doing this, I picked the colors that I decided to do when I made the painting. You don't have to pick the same colors. You can make like a pale blue. You can mix whatever you want together and make a color you like. You could use yellow, anything.
It's
so I'm
your
going to
world,
go with, yeah.
Right? You know, create whatever
This is a
you want.
non-existent jellyfish. I'm just going to go to the next little section of tendrils. And you can leave a gap here and there. Like I just moved over and leaving a gap. And you may end up slightly changing the original tendrils you drew.
You know what's crazy? Here's a funny thought. We have almost as many YouTube videos as there are episodes of Game of Thrones.
Really?
So if you really want to, are looking for something to entertain yourself in the evenings, power through.
Power through all our videos?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
We're every bit as entertaining as Game of Thrones.
No, we're not.
You've never watched it. You don't know.
I know it's pretty entertaining. I've read the books.
Nerd
There's
alert.
a lot going on there. I've never watched the show, actually. But I read the books actually after our daughter was born in 2006. And I mean, I was home a lot. And she was sleeping a lot. So I was like, this is kind of a cool series. And then we waited and waited for the last book. I don't even know if it ever came.
It still hasn't come out.
So I've got this greenish one. Just apple green. It's the background blue has smeared in a little bit, just like before. And then I'll add those random little ripples in here too. Wherever your heart desires to add these. And if you need to use a smaller brush for them, then do. Whatever feels comfortable in your hand. Because sometimes this sort of movement we're doing, it might feel better for you to use a smaller brush.
That works.
Yep. So feel free to do that.
I personally like a bigger brush actually for this kind of stuff. But you know what? For some reason, I don't have that medium-sized brush you do for some reason.
So I brought a whole new 4-pack.
I know, but I don't want to crack it open.
Yeah, there's one in the bathroom that I've been soaking in water because I apparently left it on the paper plate overnight one time when I was painting.
Oh, so that's why I'm short a brush.
Yep, that's why you're short a brush.
Thanks, Jenny.
You're welcome.
You're the best.
You're welcome.
You're the goat.
Okay.
You know that's a compliment, right?
Yes, I do.
All right, just checking.
You told me yesterday what
I
it was.
did. Learning new things every day. I feel like we're halfway done.
Not quite. So these gaps that we leave in here, that allows spaces to put the little rings in later.
Oh, okay.
So I might actually feel like I want to thicken this one up just a little bit. Okay, let's wash the brush and go on to a different color. Just to change it up a bit. So I have a pink that we're going to add, but I do have this extra little space. And I don't really use yellow, the daffodil, much in this. Let's see what that looks like.
It's good.
I might actually mix a little blue with it. And then I could add a little white. This is me just playing around.
What are we doing here?
I'm just adding an additional color in here.
I gotcha.
And it makes apple green. No, it makes the seafoam green again, but a slightly different shade of seafoam green. It's got a little more yellow in it. Jellyfish are so cool to watch in those big tanks where they have just like the light shining down from the top.
Yeah. We should get one of those.
Right?
I don't know how feasible that is at home.
We have one. It's got a betta fish in it.
Yeah, I don't think that's the same.
So don't worry if you've got, like here I've got this one tendril in the background. It's going to be covered up with rings. I'm not going to worry about it at all. And I'm going to add some ruffles.
Sour cream and onion or cheddar cheese? Barbecue.
Queso.
I don't know. You know, I kind of get why the kids didn't eat the queso. It was like it didn't make sense.
It was over cheesed.
No, it was over tanged.
Yeah, kind of tangy. Yeah, you're right. What'd you think of the pickle chips?
I like those, but you know what I really like is they make a real spicy dill pickle chip, potato chip. But you know how I am. I like spicy food, so I like things spicy. What? We're talking about food. Jeez, get your mind out of the gutter.
Brother.
Don't call me brother.
Maybe you ought to lay off that.
I'm good. I'm having fun.
All right. So, got this next ruffly tendril done, and now I'm going to go to the pink. Now the pink I made kind of a, not just your straight up white and ruby red mix. I wanted kind of a dusty pink, so something that's a little more muted. So I mixed the white and ruby, made my shade of pink I wanted, and then I toned it down by adding a little green apple to it. So I'll scrape some of that white off, scrape half as much red because the red will really overpower it right away.
So those of you who are wondering, red and green are opposite on the color wheel. And so they tend to neutralize each other when you mix them together.
Yep, so that's what we're doing. We're going to neutralize this pink. So you can see, here it is now, just a true cotton candy pink. And then by scraping off a little green and adding it to it, just a little at a time, it totally tones it down. And you can add more if you feel like you need to.
We need to start selling color wheels.
Yeah.
Let's do it. It's one of those most, like, for especially people who are just learning how to paint, so valuable.
It really is.
Mine looks like Spumoni ice cream right now.
Yeah, it's kind of definitely a very muted pink. And I'm going to fill in this last little bit here.
Doesn't Spumoni sound really good right now?
Just like Spaghetti Factory sounds really good.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't been there in ages.
No. Spumoni, if you're wondering, is pistachio, strawberry, and vanilla together. No, wait. No, that's not true. It's not vanilla. It's chocolate.
Pistachio, chocolate, and strawberry.
Yeah.
Nice.
You knew that.
No, I forgot. I knew it was pistachio, but I don't remember what the other flavors were. Greta picked out an ice cream today with groceries. That was coconut pineapple Haagen-Dazs. It's really good. She's probably home eating it right now.
The only problem with Haagen-Dazs is they only make the small pints. That's what you guys got, right?
Yep. You're right. You're right. So we can add the little curly tendrils to this. One of the things I liked how this ended up kind of splitting off, and then it allowed an area for more little rings. So I feel like I can do that here. I could split off and make one that kind of goes off like this. A little scrawny one. And you can just add your little scalloped ruffles anywhere that feels right to you and comfortable.
You know, I've never been a Ruffles person.
Every time you just need to shut up about the ruffles.
I'm much more of a Lay's person. Lay's is way better. Actually, and even like kettle chips. Kettle chips are better.
Oh, yeah. For whatever reason, kettle chips always hurt my mouth a little bit. Like they tear up the inside of my mouth.
That sea salt and black pepper.
Yeah, it's good.
That is money.
Do you think that came out in the 90s?
I remember eating it in the 90s.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking that.
But like late 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Then so we got some good potato chip companies up here in Portland. We've got Tim's Cascade, which is good too. And I know I feel like you have your macro chip companies, you know, Lay's and well, pretty much Frito-Lay.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think every place, because I know like Louisiana, they have like Zappos. Is that right? Is that the name of it? And Emerald would talk about Emerald Lagasse. Bam! He'd talk about it all the time about keeping them in the freezer.
Funny, I don't remember that.
You don't remember that?
All right, so what I want to do now is I want to wash this brush. You can add any more of this that you like. Keep in mind, we want to leave gaps for the rings, and you can also paint rings over the top of some of these. In fact, I definitely did that on the original. But I want to take my smallest brush now, after I wash this one off, and dry it off. So I'm going to pick up this little guy. I'm going to wet it down, and I'll use some of that water and mix it with my leftover pink. You should have a small brush.
I just have it. I mean, this is...
The orange one. The orange one is your small brush.
We're doing the smallest brush.
Yeah. And then what I did was, I'll show it on the original. I occasionally did a little pink just over here to break up all this green. So, like, here's a good spot. I'll just trace along some of these ruffles.
Dude.
It's like a pink vein here.
I don't care what you say, but we're hitting a drive-thru on the way home tonight.
Out here we have Super Deluxe, which is the Oregon.
There's only like 3 locations.
Yeah, there's one in Pearl District in Portland and
one out on Powell, I think.
Yeah. really good.
It's all
Seems
local.
like fairly healthy. Like their fries aren't greasy at all.
It's all locally
I'll do
sourced,
another one here.
organic, farm to table kind of fast food place.
Like Burgerville.
Well, actually, for a bigger name that more people would be familiar with than Burgerville, because Burgerville's just a Northwest thing too, is it's kind of like an organic, farm to table version of In-N-Out.
Okay, got it. So I'm gonna wash this off.
And I haven't ever had In-N-Out, so I can't verify that it's.
Yeah, we just don't want to go waiting that long.
We do have
just
one In-N-Out.
in Salem, and we would drive past it to go to our dog trainer, who's in Albany, south of Salem, and my gosh, there's a line from like 11 o'clock on through late.
It's an hour. It's an hour wait every day.
I don't like that. I don't like waiting. I'll make my own burger. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to touch up this jellyfish bell. And right now, everything right now is just kind of blocked in, and it kind of looks a little more illustrative. And
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, what's going on there?
I don't know, but we'll get to the end destination. I'm not too worried about it.
This is where you can add more tendrils in here, like maybe if I wanted to bring some green out this way. It really doesn't matter, but those rings we add really bring everything together nicely. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to take our medium, or second largest brush.
See, I don't have one of those, so I'm using my biggest.
Okay, so this is number 8 flat, and I'm just going to use pure white.
Ooh, pure white.
Yeah. And I'm going to trace the top curve first. I use the skinny edge of the brush to do this.
Oops, I used a little bit of pink in mine.
It's fine. We actually add a little pink later. And then across here, I kind of just dotted it in. Almost like a little swipe of the brush. So over on this side, we're kind of pointing towards the middle. And then I'll go over on this side. Also point towards the middle. So our scallops that we drew in originally end up disappearing. That's okay.
You know what? I've got an idea. Everybody's going to, we're going to have like 50 million people are going to watch this video. I want to know what people would like to see us paint.
Yeah, just post a comment on what you want to have us paint.
We get a lot of requests on our kids channel.
Yeah. So now I'm just going through and I'm going over loosely. I'm not even making sure that I go exactly over each of those original little dividing lines that I drew earlier. These are just in addition. In addition or on top of.
We had a request for a rabbit.
Oh yeah, for kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. We're due a kids video. And then what I do here is there's a definite shine from the sunlight, which is up at the top, which is why we did the light blue at the top of the canvas. And that is through here. I use the same brush, and it's just the upper, like the, I don't know, just above the upper halfway point. I just kind of am going up and down with the white.
Now this is something you can kind of continue to build on as we go, right?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
This is like, makes me feel like we're painting a pumpkin.
So it's almost like our jellyfish is wearing a white headband, really. But it's a shine.
If it's wearing a headband, is it also wearing leg warmers?
Probably.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like that's what we already painted is the leg warmers.
We are ready to move to page 2.
You're kind
We're
of
going to start making some rings. Yeah, I'm tuning you out.
You're starting to tune me out.
You're talking too much. I might have to give you a lollipop.
I'm supposed to be the guy with the cup of coffee in the background.
You're the guy with the paintbrush painting a...
Hey, don't knock it till we're done. You act like this is going to be like...
You got the muscly jellyfish.
You and I have totally different styles of painting.
Mm-hmm. We do indeed. Okay, so let's pick up our smallest brush. And I just start with the white. And I'll show you on the photo. raising it up from my special little zoom in. You can see I start with white and I just gradually start adding these rings, primarily in the areas that are the water background. So I'll dip my brush in water. In fact, I'll put a little drop of water on my palette and stir some white into it. When you're using this little brush, a watered down paint is ideal because there's so few bristles that it doesn't really hold on to any moisture.
That's true.
So you're going to have a lot of good luck by adding water to your paint.
Sounds good.
A lot of good luck. Okay, so I'll start here, an easy part. I do a ring, next to it I'll do a little bit bigger, maybe next to it do a little smaller, maybe over here smaller. I just do them different sizes. And they're not overlapping, they're just touching each other.
What are these?
These are a Abstract Jenny add-on.
I've heard about those.
Yeah, I was just trying to figure out what I can do to really like artistically stylize the jellyfish.
Yeah.
So this is not something that happens in nature. I mean, the jellyfish maybe would want to see a jellyfish doctor if this were going on. But I like how it ended up making the painting look in the end.
Well, I think it enhances the idea that this is underwater.
And it adds some detail. That's what it needs. Like, this needs some detail because it's kind of just blocky on its own. And let's see. So I will also put... It doesn't matter where you put what color because we're going to do some pink rings. We're going to do some pale green rings.
Really?
So, yeah. So maybe I'll do some white ones up in here.
We're so hitting Super Deluxe on the way home.
Did that make you think of onion rings?
No, they don't do onion rings. I'm just hungry.
I think maybe you should go there right now.
We do have an Irish pub directly downstairs.
So yeah, I like this where it's kind of just counterbalanced by this other little patch of those. And anywhere else you want to add white rings, don't take too much time on these. I thought when I was designing this, I thought I don't really want people to spend a whole bunch of time making perfect rings because none of these are perfect at all. Just think I'm going to reference food again, they're little Cheerios.
Man, you're killing me.
They're onion rings. But no, they touch each other, but they don't necessarily overlap. Although if you have a few that overlap, that is not a big deal at all. And I'll look at a space and think, okay, can I fit do I need to fit a small one, medium, or small, medium, or large ring in here?
I think I started with my rings too small.
Maybe.
I'll be all right. I'll catch up. Don't worry. You just do your thing. Like you were waiting for me.
So this is going to get you some really good practice with your small brush because we don't use the small brush a ton in our videos. It's always like the last brush that we pick up.
I feel like the only time I ever use it was when we sign it.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. That in your paintings, that is absolutely true.
You know what? We should do a crossover Seascape and May the 4th be with you and do a Death Starfish.
Yeah, we did an Ewok painting.
Oh,
So May the 4th, that's just an event that we started doing in the studio a while back. A couple years ago or so. We did Chewbacca last year.
We had so much fun with Chewbacca.
And it's available, that kit is available on gobox.com if you want to do our glamour Chewbacca. And this year we did an Ewok, and that is streaming on May 4th, same way this one is here. It'll be online on YouTube.
It is not part of the subscription box, though.
Nope, not part of the subscription box. It's a kit you can buy, or you can just follow along with your own materials. But yeah, it's Wicket. It's Wicket the little Ewok. So that's what we're doing on May the 4th, which I think is it's a Tuesday or Wednesday. I think it's a Tuesday. Let's wash the brush, if you are ready.
I'm not ready.
And I'm going to move on to a different color. Let's see. I think I'm going to go for, just thinking here. I'm going to make a seafoam green. So I don't like mixing with this little brush because it's too small and you can really bend it up and make it out of shape. So I'm going to use my big brush to mix the green and white. And that's just it. Just green and white.
Wow, that was anticlimactic.
I know. I thought I was going to add another color. I was going to maybe add a little blue, but I think
Behold, we shall add green and white.
So this made just a light seafoamy green.
You're rolling your eyes.
I am totally rolling my eyes at you tonight. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's find a spot.
But we're having fun, right?
Yes. So I'll just put some over the top.
I need more green on mine.
See, I'm doing this over the top of the tendril. So this one's not focused on the gaps of the background. Oof. This is just over the green on mine. If you want this one to go in one of the gaps, you absolutely
I'm going to add some yellow to mine.
Yeah. Definitely. In fact, if you wanted to do kind of this almost ombre effect, you could get going and then add some yellow. Mixing with the small brush, like I said, I don't do. And you can just kind of slightly change in color. Having the water mixed in there is going to be very helpful, so make sure you do that. And I'm not using a lot of pressure here. I'm just using the very tip of the bristles, feather light pressure. You're just tickling your canvas with this. Yeah, exactly. It's just the lightest pressure. I think the tendency, especially when you haven't painted a lot, is to push down. Well, the harder you push, you're going to get a really fat ring if you push really hard. But if you just use the very tip of the bristles, you get a nice little delicate, Cheerio ring, onion ring thing.
Oh, ours are so different.
Yeah, they are. They're very different.
It's all the same elements, but just the way our hands work differently is just creating complete.
And that's true though in the studio. Everybody's paintings are very, very different.
Oh, I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
Nope. It's kind of fun to walk around. I learn a lot from the students. Like I'll see something in class someone did, and a lot of times it's accidental. They're like, I've never painted before. And I'll be like, man, I really like the way you put the moon on right here or something. And then I'll like...
But you know, it's interesting when you have that situation, because I know exactly what you're talking about. And almost always, you know what those people say? Like, I had zero expectations, so I just went with it.
That's what you got to do, really.
You know, it's like...
People put too much expectation
Yeah, they
on
didn't
themselves.
really... They're just like, I'm just here to have fun, so just whatever happened. And it's like, those people are the ones that, like, really teach me things.
Yeah. I'm going to use this color over here. Because while you've got it, might as well use it, and it's a good way to kind of tie this all in together.
I'm really digging using a little bit of extra yellow in this. But that's just me. Use your own eyes. Determine what looks good to you and roll with it. Brush with it. Paint with it? I don't know. If you guys are wondering, I have a day job too, and I do a lot of physical exertion. So sometimes by the time we're at this point, I'm like loopy. Of course, a couple daiquiris don't hurt.
Yeah, so Paul and I have been watching, we really wanted to learn how to make craft cocktails better than what we would normally make. So we've been watching, there's some really good YouTube videos out there on how to do craft cocktails. And it's just kind of fun. I mean, during the COVID and everything, we don't go out a ton, not like we used to. No. Anyways. And so we'll just be like, oh, this week we're buying tequila. And we're going to do all tequila. And we'll do like one a night. And then one drink a night. And then the next week
This is rum week.
This is rum week. Yep. This is rum week.
We started with gin the first week, then tequila the second week. This is rum week. We just started doing this.
Yeah, just recently. So it's kind of fun.
Who knows? Maybe some of our efforts will show up in the studio when the studio opens in Sherwood. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not promising anything, but maybe someday. It'll happen.
So I'm going to tweak this color a little bit. I'll add a little yellow back in there, a little green back in there. I just want a different ring color than what I've done. And maybe I'll add a little blue.
A little blue.
Sapphire.
Cool. You go, girl. Yeah, I just did.
So this made kind of a, I don't know, pastel teal. That's what I would call that.
Pastel teal.
Pastel teal. And I'm going to add this one out here. And you know what? It's funny. It ended up almost the exact same color as this.
I feel like my jellyfish ate a really big burrito.
You've got a monster jellyfish for sure.
He's passing a lot of bubbles. I'll just say that. I'm digging it though. I'm digging it. We've had a couple people hanging tight with us. Thank you for being patient with my ramble nonsense. I appreciate that you're hanging out. I'm having fun.
So already it's looking better and more detailed. It's not so blocky looking like it was before. And it's just by adding rings in different colors and sizes.
That wasn't what I meant to do, but it worked. Don't ask. We'll show later, right?
Yep, we'll show both. And now I've got just a couple little gaps left to fill. And I can do any color in there. Let's see, what do I know I want to do. I do some actual, like we have our muted pink here, and I do some actual true pink rings on this one. So for here, I think I'm actually, what do I want to do?
This is not a time for indecision. You have to make a choice.
I'm just going to add a little white to this color that I just made.
Color. That needs more color.
I'm doing a whole bunch of different shades of seafoam green tonight, apparently.
Wow. Okay, that works better.
So I'm going to wash this off. And hopefully you guys at home, if you're painting along, you're going to experiment a little with your own colors. I briefly considered making the stinger part of the jellyfish, which are those final tendrils we put on in white. I considered doing them red because I know I've seen on jellyfish that sometimes they are red. But I thought it might take away from all this that we're doing. And so I went for white.
Mine looks like it hit the afterburners.
Okay, so I'm going to use one of my medium brushes probably, and I'm going to mix up a true pink that's not muted, so just red and white. Remember, the red's going to really overpower, so I use less than half the amount of red to white. And mainly what I want to do is I want to see, is that going to show up? That's pretty close, so I'm going to add a little more red. Or white, either way. We want it to be a contrasting color.
Would you make up your mind already? I'm just kidding. You already explained it. We're good.
Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to add a little drop of water to this. And I'll go up here and see. Let's see if that's a good contrast. I feel like it's really not super visible, so I'm going to add a little more red to this.
Yeah, make that red pop. Wait, are you doing circles again?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's never an end to these circles. They just keep going. So these are definitely more visible. And I'm not going to fill in this whole entire tendril. Usually I'll just go along that one edge.
Surrender to the circles. Just let them be. What was that?
That was the building settling, which means a whole bunch of the brick dust is going to crumble onto the floor.
Pretty sure it's just ghosts.
So this building is old. It's 110 years old, which we've mentioned it before. Former ballroom here in Sherwood, Oregon. And the walls are interior and exterior brick. And there's a constant powder that comes out. And I am like on it with the vacuum constantly, and it drives me crazy. So I vacuumed all the brick off, thinking, okay, there's brick dust lingering on here. And if I vacuum it all off, then I'll have at least a little bit of time before it crumbles out onto the floor again. Nope. Came in the next day. It's on the floor. And what is it exactly, Paul? You said
it's called effervescence. Basically.
Is it really effervescence?
It's when we're kind of in a fairly humid climate, and it's basically the salts in the mortar wick their way through to the dry part and create a little powder that then wants to go.
And it's just salt.
Yeah,
is it kind of like if you put water in a petri dish and you let it dry, and you know how you get that like salty residue? So that's what that is.
Pretty much.
So if anyone out there knows how to fix that with interior exterior brick, drop us a line.
Yeah.
Because it's driving me nuts.
Click subscribe, leave us a message.
We'll send you a free painting.
If it works. Just because you make a comment doesn't mean you're automatically qualified. We got to make sure it works first. I even tried it. I licked the wall the other day, and it was like,
he did not lick the wall. He did not lick the wall. You're making yourself sound like a psychopath.
I touched my finger to the wall, and I licked my finger
to see if it was really salty.
It really was.
Okay, so I feel like
how is that psychopathic?
Licking the wall?
No, that's different. It was true.
You said you licked the wall.
It was science.
Okay, so I feel like this is pretty open and needing something. I think I'm going to bring just the plain apple green in. I'm doing probably more circles than I did on the original.
I'm getting kind of tired of circles.
Yeah, we're going to be done with them in just a second. This is my last little batch of circles. I just want to fill some negative space in this area. And I'll just do some little clusters of circles, rings. There. All right, washing the brush now, and we are going to...
Yeah, what is the next step, Jay?
We're going to add... we don't have a lot of steps left. The rings are the longest portion of this painting.
Okay.
And if you do them fast, without thinking too much, then you'll get them done pretty quickly. But if you are a slower painter, there's no problem with that at all. You can pause the video and catch right up.
Yeah, everybody paints at their own speed, so...
Definitely. And I've been painting long enough that I know, like, when I paint a ring, I pretty much know what it's going to look like. Sometimes, if you haven't painted a lot, it'll take a little bit till you feel confident with it. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is... using the small brush again. We're kind of doing rings again. Not really. Well, sort of. So
Are you kidding me?
I put in these solid white dots. I just love them. I feel like this is kind of a remember the movie The Abyss? It's kind of that sort of thing, you know, things underwater. They have these cool, like, neon effects, lots of little white dots and things. And so that's the look I was going for. And I think I did use the smallest brush and just white. And I'll just pick an area. I'll do just a solid circle. And they're not touching like the others. They're spaced apart.
Okay.
And they can be different sizes. This is just adding more interest to this overall painting. So I just kind of spin my brush around in a circle. These are completely imperfect. Some of these circles are a little lumpy, so please don't try to make perfect circles. Some might be ovals.
This is just really just a textural thing we're adding, right?
Yep.
Oh, man, I had some blue on my brush. Oh, wow.
Happy little accident.
It's all right. We'll live.
There's some really interesting creatures deep under the ocean, and a lot of them probably haven't even been discovered yet.
They're still discovering them. It's crazy.
There's some people that believe that, I read this recently or heard it on a podcast, that aliens settled on the Earth and went way underwater, and that's
true.
what they are.
There's a place in Alaska and then the Bermuda Triangle.
That's cool. I like thinking that kind of thing.
It's totally true.
Rather than just like, oh, they're just there. It's like, oh, yeah, they're aliens. They've been here forever, and we don't even know what they are.
Aliens.
As long as they stay peaceful and stay under their dark ocean.
If it's true, then they've been there for a long time, and we're good to go.
Yep.
They're laughing at us is mostly it.
Anywhere you want to put these, you can see what it did. It made this so much more interesting over here.
It really does add a nice textural contrast.
Yep, and especially if you do them different sizes. Some will just be tiny specks, and others are going to be more of like a pencil eraser diameter.
Oh, that big?
They can be.
There's no rules.
So any of these tendrils that feel a little too plain, like this definitely doesn't have anything on it. I could put some there. Maybe I will. This painting's it goes kind of fast. So I've got some time.
And you can take as much time as you need or want.
Yeah. Maybe I'll just do these down one side on this one rather than filling in the whole area.
Ooh. All right.
It'd be kind of fun to do a starfish painting too. Maybe I'll...
That's starfish.
Maybe I will figure something out there. I like painting underwater creatures. It's kind of fun. Okay, very interesting jellyfish now as compared to what it looked like in the very beginning. And I mean, you could keep going. I could add more. I could add rings out here. Since I suggested it, I'm just going to do a couple. Just to show you don't have to go down like all the way down one side. I could just do a little cluster. It's just hanging off the side here.
This is an interesting painting because on one hand it's detailed, on one hand it's impressionistic, and on one hand it's abstract.
You know me, I'm just an artistic genius here. We're designing these paintings that cross off everything on the list.
Do you really need that much of a pat on your back?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Thanks.
There you go.
Okay, so we're going to add some pink to the bell. You can see it there. Totally optional. If you don't want to do this, you don't have to. I thought it kind of tied nicely and tied the pink down here into that pretty nicely. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. I want to use my second largest brush for those of you with the red set, which I know most of you have because that's what we're shipping out. Number 8 flat. And I've got some pink here, but I want to lighten it a little bit. We want this one to be more of a lighter kind of pastel pink, bubblegum pink, cotton candy pink-ish. And I just like the way I did the white, I'm going to do the pink the same way, but it's just under the white. And it just sort of reaches down to the bottom of the bell. I'm curious how many of you learned tonight through this video that this is called a bell. I certainly never knew until I Googled
Drop
it.
us a comment if it's new to you.
I actually just Googled jellyfish parts. Or jellyfish anatomy. Just out of curiosity, when I was writing the instructions, I'm like, should I really just be calling this a head? Like, is it technically the head? Or
It's the bell.
Yep. And if you wanted to add pink up in here, I mean, I'll do it just because I mentioned it. I didn't do it on the original, but I'll show you what it would look like here to add a little there. Pink up here. Yeah, so it just looks like the whole bell is pink. It reminds me of Finding Nemo. Remember, they're bouncing off the jellyfish?
Just
and
keep
they're all like
trying.
pink. All the jellyfish are pink.
That's right, they are. They're kind of a coral color, yeah. Oh my gosh, how many times did we watch Finding Nemo?
So many times. So our son is almost 21 now, and when he was 3, that's when that movie came out. And my gosh, he loved it so much. We would watch it over and over. And you know what? I never got tired of it. There was never a time when I was like, seriously, Finding Nemo again? It was like, okay, let's watch it again.
We tried Finding Dory.
I loved the sharks. Bruce, the shark.
Hello.
Yeah, he was great.
But Finding Dory just didn't have the same...
I don't think I ever watched it.
We did. We watched it.
Oh, okay. I don't remember then. All right, so we only have 2 steps left. Pretty much 2 steps. We're going to add the stingers. And you can see, to keep this from conforming too much to this whole central area, I purposely made some that curve off the side. Now, these are like gentle waves. It's kind of like weighted down curls. They're not going to be tight kinks. They're not going to be like ramen noodles. It's more like I compare it to hair. Because like, this is what like really curly hair looks like when it gets wet and is stretched down. That's what we want. And then we're going to add these bubbles. And I had a couple little specks that I added in there too. And that will be it for this painting. So this is all these stingers. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 8 of them. You can decide how many you want. We use the smallest brush, but because it's such a long brush stroke, we definitely want to mix water with our paint. So I think I'm going to use a little bit larger brush. I'm going to use my number 8 flat to mix that little setup together here. So fairly watery. I would say the consistency of like heavy cream. If you've ever poured heavy cream out of a pitcher, you know.
And who hasn't?
You know it's not as thin as just plain old milk. It's a little thicker. This is about the right consistency we want. And go ahead and take your little brush now. I'll just start with a pretty easy one that's not too like curving way out in the background. Like right here, and I'll just do it. Remember, they're kind of gentle waves. I would be curious if any of you guys watching the video have ever been stung by a jellyfish too. I never have, but I remember my dad always talks about his cousin that sat on one on the beach. And
you know how you rectify
it's like they'll
that,
never
right?
forget it. The cousins will never forget that time when she sat on the jellyfish.
You know how you fix that, right?
Don't you pee on it?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yuck. I don't think anybody peed on her. So you can make some of these that twist too. Like I like to do, they're pretty evenly spaced apart. And I like to do ones that like it comes back over this way and maybe twists over and then reaches through here. And yes, you are going to draw right through your pretty rings you were painting, but that's how it would be in nature. It's not going to like part the way for those to stand out and shine on their own. It's going to go right through them. And you might have to, oops, got some pink in there. You might have to go over some of these tendrils or stingers more than one time. I can tell my pink paint through here wasn't 100% dry, so this stinger turned a little pink, but that's okay. I'm just going to go with it. And you might need to refresh your paint with some water along the way. It just evaporates really fast. How many do I have? I have 5 so far. Yeah, I think 3 more is probably about the right number for me. You guys can put as many as you want. I'm about ready now to start curving them out this way. So this one, maybe it'll come through like that.
My bell is a disaster.
Shouldn't have drank all that daiquiri, Paul.
No, I mean, it's okay. We'll live. I'll survive.
This is, what time do we start? 6:30?
Yeah, we're doing good.
Yeah,
we're
this
only
is
an
a
hour and 10
short-
minutes into it, so...
Some of you guys have asked for a little bit shorter time frame because I know it's... When you're sitting down in the studio, the time goes by fast. I don't know what it is, but when you're in front of a monitor, like whether you're doing a Zoom class or this sort of thing, the time goes... It feels like it goes by a little slower. So some of you guys have asked for a little bit shorter videos, so... That's
And we gotta
perfect.
be honest, it's hard to shorten them up.
It is to keep the quality of the painting and shorten them up. It is hard.
Yeah.
But we'll probably just do some that are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So this one kind of goes really close to
Next month,
straight
I'm gonna do a
across.
polar bear in a snowstorm.
What?
Yeah, it's just gonna be a white canvas.
Yeah.
That'll take us like 10
He's
minutes.
not.
I'm not. I'm kidding.
We know Polly's going to do one of his classic Bob Ross landscapes.
They're not Bob Ross.
So my stingers are all done. If you feel like you want to go back and add any more bubbles or develop any of this stuff anymore, you absolutely can. This is your painting. You can play around with it as you want. You can see the difference. This one I think is a little skinnier through here. The whole jellyfish is maybe a little skinnier. This one definitely is a little bigger, which was fun. It was fun to add all that extra stuff. For the bubbles, I know you guys are probably so sick and tired of drawing rings, but we do have a couple more left. They're just the bubbles. I do one that's like the size of maybe like a $50.
You know, these stingers really are all the difference in the world in this painting.
They really have a nice focal point.
It breaks up everything else.
And then I'll do another one that's maybe the size of like a nickel. It really doesn't matter what size they are. To make them look like bubbles, so down, curved along one side, I'll do a nice long shine on both of these. You just follow the curve of the circle. You don't want it to curve any different than the outside of the circle curves. So it just needs to follow along with that exact curve. And then I'll do a little shorter one across here.
Do you remember that fish in Finding Nemo named Bubbles, and he'd go like crazy when they're these are bubbles.
That was like funny, like the OCD fish.
Mount one Hakalugi.
What kind of fish was that? Like a banana fish or something? I
No,
can't
it
remember.
wasn't a banana fish.
I don't remember what it was called. Yellow tang? Yeah, it was a yellow
the
tang.
yellow tang. Yeah.
Okay, so then I'm gonna use the handle of my littlest brush and stamp it in the white, and I just do some little specks around the bubbles. Like these are tiny bubbles that are maybe further away. And you can, or plankton, you can put these all over if you want, if you really like doing the dots. But that is it. We are done.
Wait, you've got like some like streaky white stuff in the original.
Where?
Up at the top.
That was where I had added the light color that's mentioned in the instructions, how if your paint's dry, and, you know, we remember we went back and we added the light color.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had just added a little more at the top. And you could do that. Let's see what that looks like. So I'll show you what Paul's talking about. That's right here. Got a little bit more light streaked in there than this one. This one's definitely all very textural. Just kind of turn it around, you can see. But if you want to add a lighter color, I probably would do light blue instead of white. And kind of maybe a watery mix. Very pale. It's a lot more white than blue. Add
Sorry
some
if that
water.
threw you off, but
It did throw me off.
I mean, I see it.
Jerk.
I see it in the painting.
I got pink in there. So I've got a lot on my brush from mixing the color together, and I don't want a lot. I'm going to wipe it all off, and then I'll just dip the very tip of these bristles. And then you can just do that same sort of, I called it graffiti. But yeah, you're just sort of lashing through here horizontally with little figure eights or swirls or like little S shapes.
It's surface tension.
Surface tension, yes. Go around your bubbles.
Bubbles.
Oh my gosh, that's totally right. Now I'm gonna go home and watch that movie. I'm sure we have it on DVD somewhere.
We don't need it. We've got Disney Plus.
That's right. DVDs have just gone by the wayside.
What's a DVD? Oh my gosh, I can't believe you guys used to buy DVDs. Remember when we used to get like Blockbuster Video?
We'd buy the used DVDs.
And buy the used ones.
Oh, we can get 3 for $16.99.
We bought so many.
Now they're obsolete.
You know, there's still a Blockbuster Video here in Oregon. So those of
In
you
Bend.
outside of Oregon, we have one
very last Blockbuster.
Blockbuster Video.
It's the very last one.
And I think they actually set up an Airbnb
They did.
in the back room.
They did. Where you can just like access all the videos.
Yeah, you can go rent the back room and have a movie night in Bend, Oregon.
Super cool idea. Bend, Oregon is super cool if you've ever been there. If not, go. It's high desert. There's a lot of history there from the pioneers. There's the High Desert Museum. It's super cool to go through.
It's actually worth the trip, and if you work it out right, you can do like kind of like a southern Oregon trip and hit Crater Lake and Central Oregon at the same time. And Central Oregon is amazing if you guys are into brews, and brews as in good beer, and good food, and yeah, highly recommend it.
I'm going to sign my painting now. So I will usually put a drop of water in the signature mix because you're using that little brush. And this is going to totally disappear in those rings, but I will put my little signature down there. It totally is gone. I like that. Secret and hidden. So I'm going to push this aside, and we'll
sign
bring
mine.
Paul's over.
Hold on, let me sign it. Hold on, just a second. Almost there.
This was fun. Let's compare the two. Oops, the original with this one. The same yet different, and this is, I mean, I designed and painted both, so you'll see that yours will look different because I can't even replicate the exact same original, so they're very common. We're not using projectors or templates or anything. This is straight on painting. And here's Paul's little Rastafarian. It reminds me of, remember the Shark Tale movie and they had the Rastafarian fish? It's funny, the jellyfish painting brought back all of our memories of when our son was such a tiny little boy.
You know, that was Will Smith in the Shark Tale.
Yeah.
And they had was it the shark wash?
Yes.
It was like the car wash for sharks or something. And then they actually made a second movie of that. I like
the purple you put in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know, I was watching you paint for a while, and I thought, oh, that'll be interesting. And then when you ended up, I like it. You did a good job.
I feel like the bell is a little too defined feeling. Maybe. But anyway, I'm not dissatisfied with it. It's out of my wheelhouse, so it's good to get into your discomfort zone once in a while.
Yeah, good to go out of your wheelhouse once in a while.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and go on back, and we'll say goodbye.
We'll say goodbye.
This was a short one.
It was a short one. We're at like 1 hour and just shy of 20 minutes.
Yeah,
so 1 hour 18. So
thank you for joining in. You can like and subscribe. Click the bell for notifications. Every time we post new content, you'll get a notification. That really helps us. It helps the visibility of our channel. And if you really want to go further, we've got our Patreon or coffee. You can buy us a coffee. It's super cheap. It's a one-time purchase and goes towards.
And we'll have those memberships. That's kind of a new thing on YouTube. And there's 3 different levels. We'll have to we have to do a video that tells people what the memberships are about. And I think when you're looking at our channel, you have this. There's a button now that says join. And you'll get, there's already explanations on there about which they are. And I think the cheapest one's like $1.99 a month or something like that. And it just really helps us be able to grow our channel and provide more videos for you guys. So I don't want to talk too much about it.
Yep, so when's our next video? Your
next video is...
I put your painting down there, you can show it.
Oh, yeah, let's do that.
It's the 15th.
It's the 15th, so next Wednesday?
Yeah. So we're doing another live stream of, it's called Bonsai Lake.
It's Bonsai Lake, yay.
It's got the same colors except black is added to it, and that's what we will be painting. Do you have red in there? Yeah, you do have a little red.
Yeah.
In the highlights of the tree.
Yeah, a little bit. I feel like this is really kind of a nice little throwback painting for us.
Yeah, save your coaster, because we traced the coaster to
so where's our coaster? Here's our coaster. Here. So we actually used our coaster...
to trace the circle.
To trace... There we go. Trace a circle
Although it kind of ends up being a hazy faded.
Yeah, and
out
it's just a rough.
so
It's just a rough reference, so you don't have to. But it's kind of a nice. Like I said, it's a nice throwback. It reminds me of a lot of the paintings we did in the first 3 or 4 years at the studio, and I know that a lot of the paintings that I've been doing lately have been a little bit labor intensive, and this one's going to break away from that.
It's going to not be labor intensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll see you next Wednesday.
See you
if
next
you want to join us at
Wednesday.
live at our Portland studio, please go to vinego.com.
Yeah.
If you want to subscribe and get 2 projects a month for $35 a month, go to gobox.com.
Now, we did just have to scale back the studio again because the COVID rates have been going up in the county that it's in. So seating is pretty limited, but we are going to keep it open. Mm-hmm. And I think we're at,
we said 12.
12, yeah.
So we'll see you guys later.
And either Jenny or I will be teaching almost all the classes in the studio upcoming. So if you guys want to come see us in person and you're in the Portland metro area, or if you want to make a road trip.
Yeah, make a road trip, drive to Portland.
Yeah. So thanks,
We'll
guys.
see you guys next Wednesday.
Adios.
Bye.
See you later.